This happened to me, and to this day, I don't know how I got out alive. I was 16 at the time. It was during the period when those creepy clown sightings were all over the news. Most people thought it was a joke. I didn't, because one of them followed me. It was late evening, just after sunset. I was walking home alone, taking my usual shortcut past an old recreational park that had been closed for years. The streetlights near it barely worked, and the place always felt darker than it should have been. That night, I heard footsteps behind me. I stopped. They stopped. When I turned around, I saw him standing near the park gate. A clown. Not a costume store clown. His outfit was filthy, torn, and soaked in something dark. The white makeup on his face was cracked and smeared like it had been on for days. He didn't smile. He just stared at me, breathing slowly. I laughed nervously and kept walking. That's when he started following me. I picked up my pace. So did he. I crossed the street. He crossed too. I could hear the soft squeak of his shoes on the pavement getting closer. Then he spoke. Very calmly, he said, "You weren't supposed to notice me." I ran. I didn't look back until I reached the corner, and when I did, my heart almost stopped. He wasn't running. He was walking, but somehow he was closer than before. I ducked into an alley, thinking I could lose him. Bad idea. Halfway through, the smell hit me, metallic and rotten. At the end of the alley, he was already there. He tilted his head and raised his hand. That's when I saw the knife. It was long, stained, and shaking slightly, like he was excited. He took one step toward me and whispered, "They scream better when they're tired." I don't remember making the decision. I just moved, pushed past him, felt the blade slice my arm, and ran until my lungs burned. I banged on the first door I saw and collapsed. The police searched the area. They found footprints. They found blood. But they never found him. Here's the part I don't tell people. For weeks after that night, I kept finding red balloons tied near my house. One on my gate, one outside my school. One morning, one was floating outside my bedroom window. The last balloon had a note attached. It said, "You still owe me a scream." After that, the balloons stopped. But sometimes, when I walk alone at night, I hear shoes squeaking behind me, and I never turn around. I've never told this story publicly before, mostly because I still don't understand what we saw that night. This happened a few years ago when my cousin invited me on a weekend camping trip with some of his friends. The campsite was cheap, which should have been a red flag, but we didn't ask questions. We found out why when we arrived. Right next to the campground was an old abandoned amusement park. The rides were still standing, roller coasters, a carousel, even a funhouse, but everything was rusted and overgrown. The place had been shut down for years after an accident that apparently never made the news. Locals avoided it. That first night, everything was normal. We had a fire, joked around, and eventually went to our tents. Sometime after midnight, I woke up to music. At first, I thought I was dreaming. It sounded like a carousel, slow, warped, like a tape playing at the wrong speed. What made my stomach drop was realizing it was coming from the amusement park. One of the guys whispered, "You hear that too, right?" We all did. 4 of us grabbed flashlights and walked toward the fence. A section was already broken, like people had gone through it before. The moment we stepped inside, the air felt heavy. Not cold. Stale. As we passed the funhouse, my flashlight flickered. When it steadied, I saw a man standing between the mirrors. He was tall, unnaturally thin, and his clothes looked torn and soaked with something dark. His face was smeared like he'd wiped his mouth with his hands over and over. He smiled at us, but his reflection didn't. That's when the carousel started moving. We ran, not screaming, just running. Behind us, we heard footsteps, but they weren't fast. They stayed the same distance away, no matter how hard we sprinted. Then the laughter started. Low, close, right behind us. My light went out, and I tripped. When I rolled onto my back, the man was crouched over me. His breath smelled metallic. He leaned in and whispered, "The park only sleeps if someone stays." I passed out. I woke up the next morning outside the fence, alone. My cousin and two of his friends were gone. Their tents were still there. Their phones were inside. The police said they probably wandered off. But here's the part that still keeps me awake. That amusement park? It's still abandoned. No power. No staff. Yet campers still report music after midnight. And every few years, someone doesn't come back.